All right, let's get right into it. So, a lot of companies have poured a ton of money into Oracle Exadata, but are they really getting the performance they paid for? Today, we're going to break down the hidden reason why they might not be, and it all comes down to a critical skills gap. And here's the twist. We'll show you why the smartest answer isn't to go out and hire someone new, but to invest in the team you've already got. So, let me ask you point blank. Is your biggest tech investment just not delivering? If you're running Exadata, there's a pretty good chance the answer is a quiet yes. And look, it's probably not the hardware's fault. The real issue is often this invisible skills gap that's just eating away at your ROI, turning what should have been a brilliant tech move into a really expensive blind spot. Okay, so here's how we're going to tackle this. First up, we'll look at that underperforming investment. Then we'll dissect the skills gap to see what's really going on. From there, we'll talk about the crazy high cost of trying to hire your way out of the problem. After that, we'll flip the script and look at the upskilling advantage. And we'll wrap it all up by showing you how this unlocks the ROI you've been looking for. All right, let's kick things off with that underperforming investment. And just to be super clear, we are not talking about bad technology here. This is all about a hidden problem and the way things are run, one that quietly inflates your costs and honestly leaves a ton of performance just sitting on the table. And here it is, the core of the problem, the Oracle Exadata skills gap. It really just boils down to basic supply and demand. You've got companies adopting Exadata like crazy, but the pool of DBAs who actually know how to wrangle this beast, well, it just isn't growing nearly as fast. So, you might be thinking, a DBA is a DBA, right? Well, not exactly. Let's really dig into the anatomy of this skills gap and see why Exadata expertise is a whole different animal. Okay, here's the most important thing to get. Exadata is not just another piece of software you install. It's a fully engineered system, this incredible blend of hardware and super smart software, all designed to work together perfectly. Trying to manage it with just standard DBA skills? Honestly, it's like trying to fly a fighter jet with a regular driver's license. You just don't have the right tools for the job. And we're not talking about small, nice-to-have skills here. These are the big ones, the game changers that are so often missing. I'm talking about things like Smart Scan, which completely redefines data processing, or hybrid column your compression, which can literally crush your storage costs. If your team doesn't have these down, it's like you've bought a Ferrari and you're never taking it out of first gear. And check this out, because this problem is actually getting worse, not better. See, back in the day, you had this small, elite group of specialists. Now, everybody wants one. And here's the kicker. Looking ahead, that original group of experts is starting to retire. So the supply is literally shrinking just as demand is exploding. That's a perfect storm. Okay, so what do most people do? The knee-jerk reaction is, let's just hire an expert. It seems logical, right? But here's the thing. Jumping into that so-called talent war is usually a huge mistake. It's slow, it's crazy expensive, and honestly, it's a battle you're probably not going to win. Yeah, and this quote just nails it. It really lays out the painful choice you're facing. You can either just accept that you're getting subpar performance from your massive investment, or you dive into this ridiculously competitive hiring market for a unicorn specialist who might not even be out there. Because that's the hard truth of it. External hiring isn't a solution. It's a gamble, a big one. You're betting you can even find the right person. You're betting you can afford them. And you're betting they'll actually stick around. It's just so much uncertainty. So, what's the alternative? This is where things get really interesting. We're talking about the upskilling advantage. The idea isn't to go find new people. It's about tapping into the gold mine you already have, your current team. Let's frame it like this. On one hand, you have the talent war. You're out there fighting everyone else for this one scarce, expensive person. But on the other hand, you have your own people. They already know your business, they know your culture, they know your systems. So the real question is, where does it make more sense to put your money? And this is where the case for upskilling just becomes a no-brainer. Seriously, just look at the numbers here. We're talking about getting someone productive in a matter of weeks, not months. The cost? It's a tiny fraction of a new six-figure salary, and that doesn't even include the hefty recruiter fees. And maybe most importantly, you actually reduce the risk of them leaving. People tend to stick around when you invest in them. It's a win-win. Let's just pause on that timeline for a second. 3 to 9 months. I mean, think about that. That could be most of a year that your hugely expensive system is limping along, all while you're just trying to find the right person. And then, bam, the salary. $140,000. And that's just the starting point. That's a huge new line item on your budget. And it's not a one-time thing. That's every single year. Oh, and let's not forget the cherry on top, the recruiter's fee. That's another 15 to 25%, which means tens of thousands of dollars just for an introduction. You stack that up against the cost of a training program, and the math just speaks for itself. It's not even close. Okay, so what's the payoff here? What happens when you choose to upskill? Well, this is where you finally unlock the real ROI from your Exadata. Let's talk about the tangible benefits you see when you invest in your own team. The business case is just undeniable. For starters, your team solves problems way faster. That means less downtime. They start actually using all those cool advanced features you bought the machine for in the first place. Plus, your team gets more stable, and you can stop writing those huge checks to consultants for stuff you should be able to handle in-house. And hey, don't just take my word for it. This isn't just some nice idea. We're talking hard data. Research shows that companies who do this kind of training see 218% higher income per employee. I mean, let that sink in. 218%. That proves training isn't just an expense, it's a massive revenue generator. Let's bring this down to earth for a minute. Just picture your own DBA team. What if, after some training, they boosted the use of a critical feature like Smart Scan by 40% in just 90 days? And what if they finally squash that one nagging bottleneck that always forces you to call in outside help? That's the kind of real-world impact we're talking about here. And really, that's what this all boils down to. It's so simple. You already have the people. They're your best asset, period. Giving them the right training doesn't just teach them a few new tricks. No, it delivers the performance, the value that you were promised when you signed that check for Exadata in the first place. So, I'll leave you with this one last thought. You've already made the huge investment in the technology. The only question left is, are you ready to make the smart investment in the people who can actually unlock its true power?